On October 31st, 2014, Becky Sloan and Joe Pelling released the third installment of their Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared series.
It makes you sad, doesn't it?
Huh?
That there's so much hatred in the world.
It involved the yellow guy being kidnapped by a creepy butterfly named Shrignold and taken to the clouds to learn about love. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. The majority of fans quite liked it. However, there were some who said that they were disappointed with it. Well, I mean, you're probably not going to please everyone every time, but why were these people disappointed? Well, most, if not all, said they didn't like it because they thought it wasn't scary enough, many citing the fact that there wasn't nearly enough gore in it. Now, people can dislike something for whatever reasons they want, but to the latter statement, I'd like to say, no. I mean, yeah, why the hell doesn't the 6-minute puppet show that's trying to get across some sort of symbolism have more blood and guts in it, huh? Fleece and foam rubber everywhere. Look, if that's your only complaint about why you don't like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared 3, go watch an actual movie about senseless bloody violence. Go watch your gore-sploitation, you sick f***. Sorry. I noticed even people who liked the video said it wasn't scary, and I'm not sure I agree with that. Now, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared 3 is my new favorite episode, even if Tony the Talking Clock will always hold a special place in my amateur internet reviewer heart. But 3 is my personal favorite because it's about a subject that I have a bit of a personal attachment to. The horror, for me at least, in the first 2 videos, came mainly from the uneasy tone, the questionable things the teachers did, and the twist endings, of course. The third one has a twist ending too, but it's actually transitioned quite smoothly. It isn't done like it's supposed to be shocking, to the point where people weren't even fazed when it did come up. This group's been feeding their views on love to this child, of course they're a cult. After Yellow Guy is brought to, Cloud Cuckoo Land by Shrignold, the Rabbit the Unicorn, Purple Frog Boy, and Gopher Beaver Groundhog tell him about love, saying it works in one way. It's between a girl and a boy, and love lasts forever, and that everyone has a special one.
Even Michael!
There have been a few theories about what this episode is about floating around. Some say it's straight up about religion, it's about society's erasure of same-sex relationships, which can tie back to the religion angle, and some say it's an attack on marriage in general. And I think those are all valid interpretations, but I also see them as part of it, but not all of it. Personally, what I see is a statement on how, from childhood, we're told that everyone has a special someone that they will fall in love with and live happily ever after with. And more often than not, we're told that special someone will be a person of the opposite sex. Children are barely even told that being gay or bi or asexual or whatever are even possibilities. Why do you think that so many people get confused about their sexual and romantic orientations when they hit puberty? And hell, never are we told that we might just not have a special someone. Now, I'm not saying people should tell their kids that they might be lonely forever, but some people, plain and simple, just won't fall in love. The aromantics of the world can certainly attest to that. And then there are people who aren't aromantic who just aren't interested in dating. The love cult doesn't tell Yellow Guy that there are options outside of just dating one woman, this woman. And obviously I'll tell him that he might not even be interested at all, or that he shouldn't even worry about it since he's a goddamn 7-year-old. And predictably, Yellow Guy is incredibly confused.
I don't understand.
You must save your love for your special one.
My special one?
You're confused, but that's okay.
Because of course he is. He's a child who is unsure of who he's interested in or that he's even interested at all. But he's got all these people dictating and practically planning his future for him.
I believe.
I've heard some people say that they think 3 is outright completely against religion in general, which I don't think is fair to say, really. I don't think it's anti-religion so much as it's anti-people using their religion to try to justify their flawed beliefs, homophobia for example, which there are the slightest implications that Shrignold and his cult might be.
He's made for her.
And she's made for him.
That's the way it's always been. And it's perfect.
And it's pure.
And it's protected with a ring.
That's the way that old love goes.
Or at least they don't recognize it as a common thing, which, yeah, is a form of homophobia. In the cult's case, they're using their beliefs to push having a relationship on Yellow Guy, something many people in a real-world context can identify with. For example, family get-togethers where annoying aunts keep asking you when you're going to start dating or you're going to get married, and the cult is trying to push a relationship with someone of the opposite sex onto Yellow. Like, say you're a girl, you're a lesbian, and one day, your mom comes home from the store saying she met a really cute boy around your age working at the checkout that you should totally go out with. This is more or less the same principle. Now, those two examples might not have much to do with religion per se, aside from the possible homophobic thing, though people certainly can be homophobic without it having to do with a religion. Though in this case it probably definitely does. But the pushing your beliefs onto people and using your religion to justify it thing definitely does go along with that. It's not there.
Love is a song that
Now for its statements on marriage. One could say this could also tie into the religion angle, but we're going to treat it as a separate thing, since marriage is something that even people not of faith do. I don't think Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared 3 is against marriage in general, but it's most certainly against pressuring people into marriage. You'd think that most people would be against that, but being pressured into getting married as quick as possible, or at all, is something that happens. A lot. The marriage symbolism, or whatever you want to call this, takes the form of Yellow Guy's cult initiation. And when you hear some of these lines, they can possibly be heard as someone who's terrified of getting married's interpretation of what it's like.
And this is your chance to start anew. And all we're asking you to do
is change your name.
clean your brain. Forget about anything you ever knew.
The chance to start a new line might come from people saying that getting married is starting a new life. Well, the concept of abandoning your old life that you very well could have been happy in to start all over in this new life that you now have to share, it does kind of sound scary, doesn't it? The change your name bit is likely commenting on how women are just expected to change their last name to their husbands despite it not being at all necessary anymore. The clean your brain and forget about everything you ever knew part sounds more cultish than anything else, but if I had to interpret it somehow in relation to marriage, it's more about having to give in to the beliefs pushed on you. And that's basically what this scene means to me. It's about what it feels like to be unsure about marriage and love, but people are telling you to do it and start a new life and forget about the old one, or else you're going to be alone forever, you sad, pitiful loner, you.
And your heart will vanish home.
And our love will never go.
Now wear this ring
And join the king.
and you will never be alone.
And people do get pressured into marriage due to that kind of emotional manipulation. Being told that they're going to be lonely and that marriage is just something you have to do if you want to be happy, or just have to do in general. And that's another thing about this episode, emotional manipulation, which is very, very easy to do when it involves love.
And do you ever feel like life's unfair? 'Cause everybody hates you and no one cares.
Like I said, you gotta get married unless you want to die old and alone. You just met that guy 2 months ago, hope you're starting to plan your wedding. And the fact that Shrignoll targets Yellow Guy when he's alone, upset, and vulnerable, and reinforces Yellow Guy's misconception that nobody cares about him and that he's lonely.
Even me? But I am lonely.
Yes, it's true, but do not worry.
And as an asexual aromantic, me personally, I actually found a great amount of comfort in this video. And I think anyone could, whether you're ace or gay or bi or pan or even straight and just aren't interested in dating, and that goes for anyone who's not interested in dating. But that is why I find this one to be the scariest. It's uncomfortably real. People stifling your creativity and telling you what is and isn't a waste of time are issues, and they can be damaging and very annoying. But this is dealing with undertones of possible oppression and things that can alter your entire life for better or worse. This is emotional manipulation, being pressured into these life-changing scenarios, and this kind of thing happens. This doesn't happen, rotting alive doesn't happen, people getting pressured into marriage and relationships, and vulnerable people getting inducted into dangerous cults unfortunately happen. Really, I could go on and on about this for a month or two, and I'm sure this was, incredibly convoluted and hard to follow, and I'm really sorry about that. And I do feel like there is more to this episode than what I've talked about. The cult stuff, the stuff about platonic love, the art in it. Seriously, look at this puppetry and animation. Look at it! And maybe we'll talk about that later. But really, you should watch it for yourself and come up with your own interpretation, and maybe add on to what I've said here. And I'm sorry if this sounds like maybe I'm reading too deep into it, maybe this isn't all that deep and complex. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Go watch it. Several times.
Now wear this ring
And join the king.
and you will never be alone.
Saw this